So because my channel is currently having an identity crisis since I don't upload the same kind of videos anymore, I'm just like, okay, well, whatever. Let's just review a MacBook Pro because I got one and I couldn't really find a video that, you know, was serviceable to see if it really fitted my needs. So I'm just going to be honest and outright to say that if you are a content creator and you're going to school, or like you just, just generate any kind of content, whether it be video, photos, audio, this is perfect. It's an amazing laptop for any of that stuff. If you need like a workhorse PC where you need to, do insane kinds of rendering, or 3D models and stuff like that, that might be a little tough on this. You might need something a little more powerful like an iMac or a full desktop PC or something. But for video, photo and audio editing, this is perfect. And so like, I think the first thing we should probably talk about is just the overall like build of the laptop, and it's perfect. Full body all the way around. It's just a full aluminum body. Like on the older models, they used to have plastic hinge which would crack over time, but this is completely metal. And they did away with the glowing Apple logo, which honestly doesn't matter to me. I don't think it should matter to anybody. If anything, it saves like 0.1% battery. So I'm fine with that. The hinge is perfect. Like I can easily just open it with one finger. And it's like the perfect amount of weight to it. It's not too heavy, but it's not too flimsy either. Like it doesn't move around super easily like it's nothing. Now, when you open it up, the first thing you might notice is that the trackpad is just massive in terms of just being a 13-inch laptop. And it's really nice. It's good responsiveness. There's no physical actuator. It's like it uses the force touch kind of thing, the 3D touch, and the taptic engine, I think it's called, to give that clickiness, which I think is fine. It feels just like a normal laptop, the same clicking feeling. And the only problem with the trackpad being so big is that when I'm typing, the palm rejection is good, but it's not perfect. There's times where like I'm typing and then it'll just randomly click at a different point in my Word doc or whatever, and it just brings me to a separate point and I just keep typing. I don't even really notice. And then, but other than that, no, it's fine. The keyboard, it's hit or miss. Honestly, I'm not too crazy about it just because it's almost flush against the entire body of the laptop. And it's just, there's not enough travel to it where it feels responsive. It's like there's some feedback, like you can hear. So there is feedback that you get from it, but because the travel is so minimal, it doesn't do it for me. And the thing is like it's so like flat against the keyboard that when I went to put a keyboard cover on it, the keyboard cover has tape on the bottom end, so then it'll actually just stay in place because that's how flat the keys are. So yeah, overall, I'm not too crazy. Is that trigger ASMR? Next is the touch bar, the touch bar, and that I'm not too crazy about that either. It's more of a gimmick because it just doesn't do anything that I wouldn't already be able to do with just a simple click of the mouse. For video editing, like it's convenient to be scrubbing through, but it's not worth a $300 premium. You can do some slight photo editing tricks with the touch bar. That's cool, I guess. You can bring up emojis if that's your thing. But other than that, it really doesn't do anything new or amazing. It's more just there because they can do it. The only main benefit, like the main reason why you'd be paying $300 is just for the touch ID. The fingerprint scanning is just really convenient, and that's about it. You can make payments using touch ID, which I think is really nice, but that's it. Honestly, there's nothing else much to that. And then there's the display, which is 2560 by 1600, I believe, and it's an IPS display. And it's nice. It's a really nice display. It's sharp. It has a 99% sRGB rating, I think. And so you know it's good for color correcting when making videos or photos or any kind of thing like that. Also, the display can go up to 500 nits, so it's super bright. So if you're outdoors, it's perfect, and also it can get pretty dim. I do wish, it's a minor complaint, but I do wish it could get a little dimmer, just because at night I find myself just writing scripts or, you know, notes or whatever in my bed when the light's off. So like it can be a little bright, but that's just a small niche problem that I doubt many people would complain about. So there is that. So one of the biggest complaints and the reason why the MacBook is so infamous is because Apple's courage led them to remove almost all of the legacy ports. So now there's only, well, it depends on which model you get. On the 13-inch with the Touch Bar, you get 4 USB-C ports, 2 on each side, and then you also get a headphone jack. On the non-Touch Bar 13-inch, you get 2 Thunderbolt 3 ports with USB-C. That's it. And then the MacBook 12-inch is only 1 USB-C port. So it depends on which one you get. Either way, if you're not getting a 2015 model, you're not getting any legacy ports at all. You're going to have to get the dongles. It is convenient, however, that all 4 ports can be used to charge the laptop. So let's say, I don't know, for whatever reason, you can't charge it on this side, you can just use these ports instead, which is nice. It's convenient, but that also means that it doesn't have MagSafe. And it's a really tough decision whether you want to be able to use all ports or have MagSafe. So as I was saying before, like this computer is good for video editing. Like when I was using Final Cut Pro, I've never used Final Cut Pro prior to owning a MacBook, so it took a bit of like just adjusting to it because I've been using Final Cut Pro and Premiere. But man, the render times, like you get instant playback almost. There's no rendering that needs to be done while editing, which is phenomenal. It's amazing just because of the optimization on the hardware. Other than that, I just use it for online browsing or note-taking for classes, and if I just do that, like note-taking and online, you know, research or whatever, it takes about 60%. I get home with around 40-30% battery, which is fine. If I'm video editing, of course, it's going to take a lot more power, so just, you know, the battery life in general is adequate. So the 13-inch with a touch bar has the lowest performing battery life between the 13-inch with no touch bar and any model, like 15-inch model. And that's because if you get the 13-inch with a touch bar, you get, I mean, for one, you get the touch bar, and also you get a spec bump. You get a slightly higher clock speed on the i5 dual-core CPU. And honestly, it's not like a small enough difference where it's negligible. It's a fairly substantial difference. I believe it's, depending between the 13-inch no touch bar and the 15-inch, it's 2 to 3 hours of difference. So this is the worst performing battery life of all MacBooks. Well, of all like pro MacBooks. So that's also something you might want to keep in mind when deciding between what you want to get. Now, I couldn't make a laptop or a MacBook review without at least once mentioning the ecosystem, which is the main reason why people love Apple so much. And honestly, I was never fully sold on the whole ecosystem thing. Like, I've always been a PC guy for the longest time, until recently when I got an iPhone X. And so I figured, okay, well, I might as well get a MacBook, and then I could, you know, utilize that ecosystem. And it is really nice. It's a lot more convenient than I expected it to be. Like, I can just do an AirDrop if I just want to drop a couple notes onto my laptop, or vice versa. I can scan documents and send them over to my laptop. I can make a quick video on my laptop and then send it to my iPhone, or someone else's laptop, or someone else's iPhone, and it's perfect. Honestly, this whole ecosystem, it's amazing. I'm not even fully invested in it as other people are. If you have like Apple AirPods, the HomePod, and you have an Apple Watch, as well as an iPhone and a MacBook Pro, like, it works so cohesively, it's amazing. Now, the software has a little bugs here and there, like my iPhone X certainly isn't perfect. And now the final question is it worth the money? It really depends, as like every other YouTuber says, it really depends. They never give you an answer, and that's because like with something that costs this much, value is all it's a perspective. It's all dependent on your budget and what you can, how long you're planning on using it for, and what you're going to use it for. Content creators who work with video editing and photo editing and audio editing, this is perfect. This is just fine. if it's in your budget. Now, honestly, out of all laptops, if you want to do just basic video editing, you know, slightly heavy photo editing or whatever, 13-inch no touch bar will do you just fine. If you want to do heavy video editing as well as maybe even gaming, I'd recommend the 15-inch MacBook Pro, just because that has an actual, you know, what's it called? Dedicated graphics card, which is super useful for video editing and especially gaming. The 13-inch MacBook Pro with the touch bar is just the awkward middle child. It works, and it's a decent middle ground, but I feel like when you're paying for something like this product, you should go like all in, or just get the entry level. This weird middle ground, it's hard to justify. As nice as having Touch ID is, it's just, I don't know if it's worth the extra. I mean, it's up to you whether or not that's worth $300 to you. But that's gonna do it. I hope this was actually a decent enough MacBook review. If you may or may not know this, I've already reviewed another laptop. If you're a longtime fan, hopefully this is a little better. But I don't have any history with reviewing tech products. I was planning on reviewing my iPhone X. This rest of this video is just going to be a ramble, so you can just leave now if you want. But I don't know if I plan on making any more tech review products. I don't even know if this video is going to see the light of day. I made this just because I recently uploaded a video, and it got me in the mood to upload more. So if this gets enough traction, if enough people enjoy this, then I might consider doing another review of some other tech product that I might buy, just because I don't buy tech products just to review, because it's not on my budget. But yeah, I hope this video is helpful in helping someone decide out there whether or not they need a MacBook Pro in their life, because it's a big investment. But honestly, if you already have an iPhone, it's a pretty good deal, especially if you get that student discount. But that's going to do it for me. See ya.